Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there?
Trump blames Ukraine for war with Russia, claims he could have stopped it. On Tuesday, former U.S. President Donald Trump made a controversial statement, suggesting that Ukraine's leadership is responsible for the ongoing war with Russia. Speaking from his Mar-a-Lago estate, Trump asserted that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky should have never started it. Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, following years of tensions and demands that Ukraine never join NATO. The conflict escalated nearly a decade after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. During his campaign, Trump repeatedly claimed that the war would have never occurred had he been in office. He reiterated this stance after a recent high-level meeting between U.S. and Russian officials in Saudi Arabia, a meeting that notably excluded Ukrainian representatives. "I believe I have the power to end this war, and I think things are going very well," Trump stated. He criticized Ukraine's leadership for not resolving the conflict sooner, adding, "You've been at war for 3 years. You should have ended it. You should have never started it." Trump also took aim at President Joe Biden, calling his administration pathetic. Despite acknowledging that he personally likes Zelensky, he questioned the Ukrainian leader's ability to govern effectively amid the crisis. "Leadership matters. This war should have never happened, even without U.S. involvement," Trump stated, further fueling debate over his stance on the conflict. Meanwhile, Zelensky expressed frustration over being excluded from the U.S. Russia talks in Saudi Arabia. "Decisions about Ukraine cannot be made without Ukraine. No external powers can impose conditions on us," Zelensky remarked during a visit to Turkey. "We were not invited to this meeting, and this was a surprise for us, just as it was for many others." U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio responded by stating that any final agreement must be acceptable to Ukraine, Europe, and Russia, emphasizing the importance of a comprehensive and fair resolution to the conflict. Trump has over the past week moved forward with his desire to bring an end to the war in Ukraine, which began 3 years ago when Russia launched an unprovoked invasion of its neighbor. Trump last week spoke first with Russian President Vladimir Putin about starting peace negotiations, then with Zelensky. Trump has talked about holding a face-to-face meeting with Putin in the near future. While Trump has stressed he wants an end to the killing, he and some administration officials have made comments in the past week that have alarmed allies and some lawmakers. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called it unrealistic for Ukraine to return to its pre-2014 borders as part of a ceasefire agreement with Russia or to gain NATO membership. Trump called it an interesting question when asked if he viewed Ukraine as an equal member of the peace negotiations without answering directly. "I think they have to make peace," Trump said last week. "Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. I said that was not a good war to go into, and I think they have to make peace. That's what I think." Don't forget to follow State 24 for independent news.